All right, so Tim Dillon, as you all know, we've been covering Tim Dillon quite a bit. Every now and then he'll come out with some banger criticisms of Trump, but the thing that, of course, frustrates me about him is that he can't help himself. He's got that bullshit false equivalence baked into his brain. He's got the both sides horseshit baked in there, and so he'll always retreat to enlightened centrist garbage where it's like, both sides, both sides, both sides. No, Tim, not both sides. There's one side in the country that is currently absolutely looting it and pillaging it and destroying it, and it's not the left. It's not the Democrats. So anyway, my question for you is, have we had a bit of a breakthrough here with Tim Dillon? Because I got some clips for you, which are perhaps a little more aggressive than I've seen. Of course, last week he did the whole fuck you Sean Duffy thing, because Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, was basically browbeating everybody into dressing up to fly. Like, he wants you to wear, like, fucking nice clothes, like a suit and a tie or some shit in order to fly. And he was like, hey, fuck you, man. Nobody has money. No, get the fucking plane in the air, dipshit. We don't care about you fucking chastising us for how we look. So anyway, that was a bit of a breakthrough the other week. And now we get this one. Watch.
And they're not talking about Epstein. And they're not talking about whatever the hell else is in these documents that may or may not come out, redacted or unredacted. And they're not talking as much about the economy, and they're not asking to have health care, and they're not asking what Palantir is doing, and they're not asking why 5 tech guys in AI control half the American economy in San Francisco. They're not asking any of that. They're just watching a boat blow up in the middle of the ocean. And good kudos, good job. You know your audience, and this is exactly what had to be done. This is exactly what had to be done.
So this is how you dangle the keys for the idiot MAGA boomers, right? We blew up something in the ocean. Look. Or the thing that, that Fuentes was talking about. Like, oh, look, Trump did a racist rant against Somali immigrants in the White House. Watch that. So that's the jingling keys. Hey, look over here. Do not look at the Epstein files, and that President Trump is all over those fucking Epstein files, which is something, by the way, Tim Dillon has not acknowledged yet, that Trump's all over the fucking Epstein files. Look over here. Don't look at inflation going up. Don't look at unemployment going up. Don't look at your healthcare premiums are about to double, triple, quadruple, and in some cases more. Don't look at the 17 million people who just got kicked off Medicaid. Don't look at Trump starving the American people by freezing the food stamp money and also cutting 94 million pounds of food aid going to food banks, which further starves Americans. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at the concentration camps. Don't look at the ICE Gestapo thugs. Don't look at Trump illegally and offensively invading blue cities with the Red State National Guard trying to do a soft civil war. Don't look at that. A boat blown up in the middle of the ocean. Look at that. Don't you love that, idiot Fox News boomers? Don't you enjoy that? Hey, young Groiper racist. Don't you love it when Trump does a racist rant against Somalians? Don't you love that? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. We got more, though. Here we go. Now he says, all they have left is performative cruelty.
When you have this clumsy, kind of somewhat insane, over-the-top deportations, people are looking at this and going, and this is, what did they use, this Sabrina Carpenter song? It's unserious. It's unserious. It's childish. It's cruel. I think one of the problems with whatever the MAGA movement has evolved into is it's duped their hardcore followers so much that the only thing left now is performative cruelty.
Oh, that's devastatingly accurate. So they do this deportation video with the Sabrina Carpenter song, and they post it like they're fucking proud of it. They rile up the racist idiot people in the base, and then everybody else is like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And by the way, in the midst of doing your performative cruelty, you also turn off the majority of Americans. Right? Because even if there are plenty of people in this country who are racist, but they don't want to think of themselves as racist, so you got to give them some sort of fucking plausible deniability. This gets rid of all the plausible deniability. It's not even close at this point, which is why he's down there at 35% approval rating. And so here's Tim Dillon calling all that MAGA has left is performative cruelty. You and I sit there and we watch what they do and they go, why are they doing this? This is so fucking disgusting and gross and distasteful and unbecoming. Meanwhile, they're like, hey, dog, that's all we got left to try to keep that 35% that remains with us, to keep them in line, to keep them on our side. That's it. That's all we got left. So now even Tim Dillon is recognizing it, but I'm still not done. We got one more for him. Now this one is interesting because Defiant L's posted this. So in other words, this is Defiant L saying Tim Dillon, this is an L for Tim Dillon because Tim Dillon dares to criticize the ICE Gestapo fascist thugs rounding up innocent people in this country. Watch.
And some of these ICE raids are so barbaric and they're so crazy. And these like 19-year-old college students are being deported to Honduras and they've lived there their whole life. Again, it's wrong on its face. Like, it shouldn't be happening in the chaotic, insane way that it's happening. When you look at someone, a grandmother, get handcuffed and zip-tied and thrown into a car by a bunch of masked psychopaths, not only is that wrong, but if the choice becomes that or having no immigration enforcement, a lot of people are just going to go, well, we don't want to be part of this. We don't want to do this. So then you have a situation where you have people coming in, you don't know who they are, because you've made immigration regulation synonymous with zip-tying children and old women and rushing into high school graduations. So any enforcement, people are going to go, well, we don't want to be part of that.
But here's the thing, Tim. That is the most pure version of this crackdown on immigration. And this is something many, like, center-right people have not reckoned with, is that you are creating the fascist monster. You are giving fuel and ammo to the full fascists. I think of Ben Shapiro. He does his show. He's like, yeah, fuck the black people, fuck the immigrants, fuck the trans people, fuck the gay people. Then along comes Nick Fuentes, and he goes, yeah, and also fuck the Jews. And Ben Shapiro goes, oh, not like that. Well, why would you think it'd be any different? You basically are fine with shitting on fucking 85 to 90% of the minority groups. And now all he did is say, I agree, and let's add one or two more to that. That's it. And so by the same token, you do this whole, like, we're anti-immigrant, we're going to crack down on the immigrants because the immigrants are the core problem with our politics, which is the right-wing view. Immigrants cause the problems in this country, right? Well, if you believe that, it goes from build the wall to mass deportations to we're not just going to deport violent criminals, we're going to deport regular criminals too who are nonviolent. Then it goes to, well, let's also not just deport criminals, let's just deport all undocumented immigrants or illegals, as they would call them. And then it goes to, what about the people who hold green cards and hold visas? Fuck them too, get them out of here. And then it graduates to, I don't give a fuck, let's just round up people based on their skin color, and the Supreme Court literally legalized, profiling when it comes to immigration enforcement now. And so you get these fucking horror stories of, like, American citizens being rounded up. You get these horror stories of people who've been here since they were a fucking child. They get rounded up and shipped to a country they never fucking been and don't speak the language. But this was always the most pure version, the most pure iteration, the straight dope version of right-wing politics. It was always going to end here. And that's what's amazing to me is, well, you guys thought you could make the case that immigrants were the core problem in this country, support, like, mass deportations, but, we don't want it to be, like, hyper-militarized and cruel-looking. It was always going to be hyper-militarized and cruel-looking. Fucking of course. Of course it was going to be. So, look, I don't want to be too much of an asshole in this segment because I think these clips I just showed you were very good. And he was right in all of them. But I also regret to inform you that I watched the full podcast and it's not as good as these clips look. So, in other words, you expect the vibe you get from these clips is like, oh, he fully turned on MAGA. He's done. But what did I always tell you? Tim Dillon hopped on the fucking Trump bandwagon when it was the vibes online. He was happy to do that. And I told you that when the going gets tough, the best you will get from him is he will withdraw into just enlightened centrism. Into like, oh, both sides are bad. And guess what? That's exactly what he did in this podcast. I wish I was wrong. I wish I was kidding. Don't take my word for it. You can go watch it yourself. But he very clearly, he brings up these good criticisms of the Trump regime, but then he goes to, and this is just like what the left does. You know, with the left, they leaned into wokeness because they wouldn't give people actual wins, so all they would do was like lean into wokeness stuff and Black Lives Matter stuff and Kente cloth stuff, and that was their version of what Trump is doing now. Spare me with the fucking bullshit. Like, Democrats and Republicans are equally bad. I'm so fucking done and over that argument in the year of our Lord 2025. If you believe that, you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You just don't follow politics. You are comically naive and comically ignorant on what's actually happened in this country. Because for all of Joe Biden's flaws and all of Kamala Harris's flaws and all of fucking Democrats' flaws, Biden did nearly eliminate the drone war. He did pull out of Afghanistan when Trump only virtue signaled about doing it and was too much of a bitch to fucking follow through. Biden did give us a $15 minimum wage for federal contractors. He did increase Social Security payments. He did raise overtime pay. He did project labor agreements for construction workers, which raised their wages. He did give us 775,000 new factory jobs because of the CHIPS Act and because of the infrastructure bill that all of the fucking Republicans were against. He did give us a pro-NLRB, a pro-labor NLRB, which of course was great for working people. He did beef up the CFPB, the anti-scam police. He did crack down on wealthy tax cheats. So just spare me with this fucking horseshit like they're all the same. No, we have the policy record. We can look at what the Democrats actually did when they had power, and it was create 775,000 factory jobs, and look at what Trump and Republicans are doing, and it's fucking killing 800,000 factory jobs. Trump lost 200,000 factory jobs in his first term, and in his second term, he's already killed about 700 to 800,000 because he killed all the ones that Biden was bringing back. Never mind how his fucking trade war is making it so that factories which were going to be built here are now going, we're not going to build it there. We can't even afford the raw materials because of the stupid fucking tariffs, because of this dumbass's trade war. So just spare me. Look, I'm fine with having criticisms of Democrats, but they gotta be reasonable. They gotta be based in reality. This fucking full false equivalence bullshit, this both sides bullshit is just not true. And I don't know how anybody could still do that in a moment like this, where we got fucking alligator Auschwitz and Guantanamo Bay and concentration camps, and people are being sent to El Salvador to be fucking raped and tortured. Are we really doing this both side shit in that moment? Are we really doing this both side shit when Donald Trump decided to invade U.S. cities with the U.S. military and take Red State National Guard and send them into blue cities to do a soft fucking civil war? Really? He fucking spends billions of dollars on his own Gestapo and gets rid of all the standards and makes it an ideological test. Hey, do you defend Trump and love Trump or not? You get in if you defend Trump and love Trump, and then there's no rules, there's no regulations, there's no more due process. They blow off fucking court orders like it's absolutely nothing. Are we really doing this both side shit in this moment? Can we fucking stop, please? Can we please grow the fuck up? It's like a perpetual 14-year-old, right? Like he's stuck in 14-year-old Alex Jones brain. Like, no, let's fucking grow up. Wakey. Let's actually follow what's going on and tell the truth and realize there is no fucking false equivalence in this moment. One side is objectively, factually, provably worse. It's not Kamala Harris that's blown up 20 fucking fishing boats, killing 83 people off the coast of Venezuela and is threatening fucking regime change in Venezuela. That's not Kamala Harris. It's not Kamala Harris that decided to bomb Iran. That was Donald Trump that decided to illegally bomb Iran. Jesus Christ, man. But anyway, there you have it. Go watch the full thing if you don't believe me. Maybe one of these days he'll grow out of the both sides nonsense, but it's a start. It's a start. But not enough. Not enough from the Rogan sphere, that's for sure. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.